put the hip shit on the shelf. Cause the way the real wealth is being real with might not have seen the glory of the coming of the left. I can't do it by myself, so I'm asking for help. It's time to switch it up, put the hip shit on the shelf. Cause the way the real wealth is being real for self. Might not have seen the glory of the coming of the left. I can't do it by myself, so I'm asking for help. Money. Wealthy. Like Kanye West said, having money is not everything, not having it is. Deuteronomy 8:18 says God gives us the ability to create wealth. You know, I don't money so much, right? Get up and go to work. I'm just trying to leave a legacy for money. It's not everything, but when you got it, you can do some cool stuff. And now, your host for Talking Money in the Morning, financial health mentor to the working class, Mr. H Cortez.
Good morning, and welcome to Talking Money in the Morning Live with your main man, H Cortez, one and only financial health mentor to the working class, where I do my absolute best to bring practical yet proven wealth-building strategies to working class men and women all over this great nation of ours. It is truly an honor, a privilege, and I do count it a blessing, and I am so serious when I say this. I count it a blessing to be able to come to you guys each and every morning and try to give you my best of tips, strategies, fundamentally sound principles that you can use to help take your finances from one level to the next. So good morning, Miguel. Good morning, Kendall. Good morning, Bridget. Appreciate you guys for tuning in each and every morning as we do Friday recap, otherwise known as Free Game Fridays, where I want you guys to engage with the show. I want you to ask all the questions that you have on any topic, man. Anything that we covered this week, we'll recap this week's shows. But anything that you had questions on previously that you didn't get a chance to ask, or anything we've ever covered, anything that you'd like me to cover, this thing is all about you guys, man. So I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Do me a huge favor. If you're checking this out on YouTube, then grab this link, share it on your favorite social media platform, whether it is Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, Pinterest, wherever you like to share links at. When you hear good, positive information, then do me a favor and share the link to this stream from YouTube. If you're checking this out on Facebook, do the same thing. Share this stream on your timeline. And if you know someone personally that's looking to build wealth, prosperity, financial security, then invite them directly to check out the streams each and every morning, because you can do that as well. When you hit the share button, you can just invite someone that you know specifically to come check us out each and every morning. And for those of you guys who don't know, you can now download these episodes as podcasts and take them with you. If you go to blogtalkradio.com and search Financial Health Mentor, or Good Morning Tanya, or you can search Talking Money in the Morning Live, and you can actually download any of the archive shows. I've got about 7 of them archived up there so far. I'll put another 5 to 10 up there today, and I'm doing it this way. I'm putting current episodes, 2 or 3 current episodes up, and then I'm also putting 2 or 3 archived episodes up, so that they'll eventually meet in the middle. So you're getting the best of the latest stuff, but you also have the ability to go back and get some of the early stuff, because we are on episode number 90, guys, and I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you guys. So I appreciate that. So you got 89 episodes that you can download, and it's a funny story about episode 1. When I did my very first episode, I wasn't streaming live to to Facebook, because I had an old Galaxy 3, right? This 4 months ago, I was still using a Galaxy 3, guys. I wasn't trying to I don't upgrade phones every time a new phone comes out. But so I couldn't stream live, but I was streaming live to Periscope at the time. And when I did my very first episode, we went in and I forgot to hit the start broadcast button on YouTube. So we actually start from episode 2 instead of episode 1. So instead of 90 episodes, even though we're on episode number 90, there's actually 89 episodes that we've actually recorded so far. So I thought that was pretty funny. But, you know, those are the things that you have to live and you have to fight through as you're trying to build a brand, as you're trying to do anything. You're going to stumble, you're going to fall, you're going to make mistakes, but you got to get up and you got to keep on pushing. So we actually got 89 of the 90 episodes ready to be archived, and I'm doing that little by little as we go, because I got some other things going on. So, but yeah, Miguel, it was funny, man. It was all good. I finished that episode, man. I went ham too, man. I was excited. It's my first episode, and it was like, oh man, I didn't even start the broadcast. So, but anyway, today's show is no. Before we get to the sponsors, let's talk about who today's show is for, guys. If you stumbled upon this show on accident, I want you to know exactly who this show is for. This show is for risers and grinders only. If you're not ready to get up, get out, and get something this morning, this show ain't for you. But if you are, this is your show, and this is who we bring the show to each and every morning. If you're the type of person that went to bed last night thinking about your legacy, you're thinking about what you can do today, tomorrow, next week, next year, next 5 years to make sure that your great grandchildren are proud to bear your last name, this show is for you. In fact, if you do everything in your power, every move that you make is for your last name and not your first name, man, this is your show. If you are the type of person who says, you know what, I know money ain't everything, but you can do some cool stuff when you got it. So I'm going to get money as an issue out of the way for me and my family. This show is for you. If you are the type of person who's got the discipline to build wealth, you got the desire to build wealth, you really want it, you yearn for it, but maybe you lack a game plan, maybe you need strategies, tips, maybe you need a mentor, maybe you need a coach, maybe you need to immerse yourself in a different culture. This is your show, man, because this is what we bring. We bring a positive environment, a positive show, a positive outlook on life. And when you partner with us and you hang out with us, man, you're surrounded with people who have wealth consciousness, and we're on our way to building wealth in a major way. So you can come and hang out with us and have a funky good time, like James Brown would say, on your way to building wealth. If that's you, this is your show. Now, on the other hand, who is the show not for? This show is not for the pessimists. This show is not for those who sit on their butts waiting on a handout. This show is not for those who are looking everywhere else for the solutions to their problems instead of looking within. This show, if you don't like the fact that I mentioned the word money over and over and over on this show, wealth, prosperity, then this ain't your show, man. I can promise you I'm going to mention money, wealth, legacy, prosperity, something equivalent, an equivalent synonym, probably 300 more times before we're done today. If you're the type of person that think money is evil, capitalism is a dirty word, this show ain't for you, man. Because when you have that kind of relationship with money, what you tend to do is repel money away from you. The people who are listening to this show want to attract money, prosperity, success, wealth to them. So if that's you, this is not your show. Now, let me be clear about this one fact. I have no problem if you don't want to be wealthy. That's your prerogative. If you don't aspire to be wealthy, I don't have a problem with that, because everybody has their own life to live. Maybe your calling, your passion, your purpose, maybe being wealthy isn't in the cards for you, right? Maybe you've come to that realization and you're cool with that. I'm cool with that. I only have a problem with those people who have a problem with me aspiring to be wealthy. Because you're comfortable where you are, don't superimpose your lack or your limited thinking onto other people. I'm after something that I believe is within my passion, that is within my purpose. So don't superimpose your limitations on me because you're comfortable where you are and I'm not. Right? I can't understand why my aspirations to build wealth can rub somebody the wrong way. But believe it or not, man, you start talking about money and success and building wealth, and people look down their nose at you. And sometimes it's not about you, it's more about them with the internal issues that they have going on as it relates to money and their ability to build wealth or have success on their own. So if that's you, this show ain't for you. You can tune out and we won't miss you. Today's show is brought to you by All Amateur Sports Network, guys. I am super excited because if you guys know that I'm on my way to being a billionaire, and if you're not, if you've never seen one before, take a screenshot, right? A future billionaire staring you right in the face. And one of the pillars that I'm going to build my billion-dollar empire on is media. And I finally gotten off the ground my sports network. All Amateur Sports Network is a network dedicated to covering the positive things that young athletes are doing on and off the field /court /wrestling mat /track, right? Whatever sport they're doing, we want to be able to cover, give them some positive media attention to help keep them motivated to stay involved in positive activities. So if you have not already gone over to my fan page, All Amateur Sports Network, please do so to like that page. If you are in business and you want to help a fledgling network get off the ground, we have our first major assignment, December 26th through the 29th. We're covering we're the exclusive digital media partner for the 2016 Normandy Holiday Invitational Tournament. I need sponsors like crazy, man. So my sponsor packages will be available on the All Amateur Sports Network website, as well as the All Amateur Sports Network fan page. So if you are a business owner and you want to sponsor a game, sponsor a halftime show, sponsor a pregame show, or whatever, Shan, I know some other business owners here locally on the stream. So if you want to sponsor some of our coverage of that, I'm talking about we're covering like 20 or 24 games. So there's sponsorship opportunities all over the place for those 4 days. And we're doing a 12 days to Christmas promotional campaign leading up to the actual tournament, so you can get in on some of that stuff, get your products promoted and sponsored and promoted and pushed all throughout our coverage of that tournament. So I'm super excited. Again, that's All Amateur Sports Network. If you want to see some good high school basketball, go to allamateursportsnetwork.com, subscribe, and I've got whole games, about 8 or 9 whole games of some local high school basketball games here in the St. Louis metro area. Man, we got some good basketball going on here this year. Our class of 2018, class of 2019, class of 2020, really stacked with talent as it relates to basketball. So just want to throw that out there. If you want to support, you got a business and you want to sponsor, our lower sponsorship package is at $50, goes all the way up to $500. So yeah, you can help us out. Your sponsorship will help us get the equipment and stuff that we need to do a good job of covering this stuff. And we'll do live streams, we'll do videos, we always do the games, we do highlights of the games, we do player spotlights, we do a lot of different things that you can be a sponsor of and get your product or company name promoted and blasted to. I think collectively, we may have something like 25,000 followers here locally. And that's between Financial Health, the Talking Money in the Morning live show. The All Amateur Sports Network is very new, so the following is limited there. But I do have a syndication team, and between my syndication team and my 4,000 Facebook friends, and my syndication team has another 12,000 Facebook friends. So you can get your name shouted out in a lot of different mediums and get some awareness raised about your business and your brand. So that's allamateursportsnetwork.com is the website. All Amateur Sports Network on Facebook, which is a fan page. Please go over there and like that page. If you do Twitter, AA Sports Network on Twitter. And if you do Instagram, AA Sports Network on Instagram. You can follow us there. All right. So let's move on to today is Free Game Fridays, man. Please, guys, have your questions ready, because this is all about you guys. So we'll do a really quick recap over the shows that we did this week. There was only 3 because I slept in one day, guys. I had to recover a little bit, but we did 3 shows this week. Yesterday was 'Tis the Season to Invest. If you missed yesterday's show, please either go to Blog Talk Radio, download the podcast so you can take it with you, and then you can listen to it on demand via the downloadable podcast, or go back to my live stream yesterday, or go to YouTube, Financial Health Mentor on YouTube, and check it out, because we talked about how simple it is to invest, and we talked about the fact that this time of year we get really careless with our money. Any other time of year, you talking about spending a dime, you talking about I need a receipt, you talking about I need the warranty and the return policy, you talking about I ain't buying from no bootleggers, none of that stuff. Come Christmas, all of that stuff is out the window, right? You need to get something for your kid. You don't care if the homeless guy under the bridge got it. You going to get it, right? So while you're being careless with your money, why don't you take this opportunity and go ahead and buy your first share of stock, right? We talked about some very inexpensive stock. I think Toys R Us stock is under $8 a share right now. And yes, they've been going through some things, closing some stores, but the purpose of "'Tis the Season to Invest" is not for you to become a millionaire off buying one share of stock, but I want you to buy one share of stock and give it away as a gift, especially to a child, because that starts the conversation. That plants a seed in that child. We talked about Dr. Boyce Watkins' grandma would buy him bonds for Christmas, and that started him on his journey to now having a PhD in finance. So who knows, give your child, yes, give them a toy from Toys R Us and say, before you give them the toy, say, hey, or you can give them the toy and then give them the stock and say, hey, I bought that toy from your store. And they're going to be like, what do you mean my store? You now have ownership in all Toys R Us stores around the world. And that begins the conversation, guys. At some point, we got to start having conversations about with these babies about what's real. About what's real. And ownership is real. Building wealth is real. Financial literacy, financial education is real. We know that there's a scholastic education. We know that kids got to know how to read, write, do basic mathematics, right? We know they have to have a basic understanding of science, right? Gravity being one thing, right? But that's something you have to teach them. They know that, heck, if I'm on this building, I could fall, right? So we know scholastic education is important. We know vocational education is important. What they're going to do to make money if they're going down the job path. We know that they're going to need to be trained in certain skills to perform jobs to earn income. But what school systems don't provide is financial education. That's left up to you and me, man. And if you do not have a financial education yourself, it's going to be tough for you to pass that on to your children. And you 30, 40, 50 years old, your children are going to be in the same place you are when they're 30, 40, 50 years old, unless you introduce them to something different. Buy them a share of stock. Give that to them for Christmas. We talked about a share of Nike stock is like $52. We talked about a share of Sony stock being about $60 or less. We talked about a share of Microsoft stocks. So these are things that they can make the relationship and the attachment to. Yes, I bought you the PS4, but now you own a part of Sony. So when everybody else bought their PS4 for Christmas, the value in your company went up. Start talking to our babies like this, man, and we're preparing them for a greater future. More importantly, we're preparing our future descendants, because if we get our children financially literate before they graduate high school, they're not going to make the mistakes that we made. And they're going to set the bar really high for their children. And that's important, right? So Thursday was "'Tis the Season to Invest." Wednesday was profits versus wages. Which do you prefer? Profits versus wages, right? Wages are what you earn when you exchange your time for money, you exchange your labor for money. Those are wages. Profits are what you earn in business. Do you want to earn profits, or do you want to spend the rest of your life earning wages? We talked about 5 things that are the major difference. Number 1 is control. When you are working for wages, you're giving up control of your entire life for 8 to 10 to 12 hours per day. You're giving up control. When I have a business that I run on my own, a full-time business owner, I have control. But here's what scares most people when it comes to profits versus wages. What scares most people is that control. That means if I have total control, then I have control over whether I fail or I succeed. If I work for wages, I don't really have control of whether I fail or I succeed. All I got to do is show up and do my work. I have control of my labor. But what you don't have control of is your time. And what you don't have control of is whether and how that company is managing its resources, its money, or whether that company is on its way under, or whether that company is about to sell to another company that's going to eliminate your position. All of that stuff. So to me, that's scarier than having total control of the amount of time I put into my business to dictate the amount of profits I can receive, right? The other thing we talked about is investment. When you work a job, you are the investment. That company is investing in you, and they're giving you a small percentage of the return that they get from your labor. They may be paying you $20, $25 an hour, but guess what? They are getting a return of $200, $300, $400 per hour from the efforts that you're putting in. So if you gave me something, your time, and I had to invest $25 for your time every hour, but your time makes me $500 per hour, hell yeah, I give you $25 and cover your benefits and give you some vacation time and pay some of your taxes. Because when it's all said and done, I'm still going to net about a $200 profit off your $25 worth of effort, right? But when I'm working for profits, I have to make the investment. I have to make the investment, right? The other thing we talked about is minimum effort versus maximum effort. Every one of you who work a job know exactly how little you can get away with and keep your job. How little effort you need to put in to stay just above the fray to keep your job and maybe get a little small raise. Right? Minimum effort. I can work a job and in 2 days on the job, I know exactly how much effort I need to put in, because all I do is look around and look at the effort everybody else is putting in. Nobody is on a job is ever going above and beyond, except for that one or maybe two people who are trying for corporate advancement. Most everybody else is they're doing minimum effort just to keep from getting fired. And guess what your employer knows? They know that, so they pay you a wage large enough just to keep you from quitting. That's the game. That's how the game is played on the employer. As a business owner seeking profits, I have to give maximum effort every time. 100% of the time, I'm giving max effort, right? And that's the difference. That's why people tend to go to the employee route, because people are lazy. Mentally, physically, spiritually, they don't want to put forth much effort, right? Entrepreneurs are different. We got to give max effort 100% of the time, or we don't eat. Right? That's important. And then the fourth thing we're talking about were assets, right? When you're working a job, you're helping someone else build an asset for their family that they're going to pass down to your children, to their children. When you work for your own business and you're working towards profits in your own business, you're building an asset that you can pass down to your children. And then the fifth thing we talked about, which is important to me, why I go after profits and not wages, is generational wealth. I'm trying to build generational wealth for me and my family, right? I don't care how much money you make on your job. That's cool for you and you alone. Why? Because you cannot pass your job to your children. You cannot will your job to your children as an inheritance. On the other hand, if my fledgling little business is only making $100 a week, that's an asset that I can pass down to my children, right? So going after profit, you can do a lot of these things and control a lot more of these things than you can when it comes to wages. Tuesday, we did a replay of one of the early episodes, and then Monday, we also did another special episode where we talked about the attitude of gratitude. And I encourage you guys to stop talking about what you got to do all the time. Because when you're talking about what you got to do, you're saying that from a position of almost as if somebody is forcing you to do something. And whenever somebody is forcing you to do something, you will never be grateful during the process of doing it. Now, I can force my children to do certain things, and when they grow up and get older and look back, they say, man, I'm glad my dad made me do that. They can appreciate it then, but while they're going through the process, they won't appreciate it. And it's important for you to have the attitude of gratitude when you're going through the process, because you get more out of it when you have that attitude going through the process. So instead of saying what you got to do all the time, I encourage you to change that one word, in fact, that one letter, from GOT to GET. Not what I got to do, but what I get to do. Right? See, I don't got to get up every morning and come to you guys with a show. I get to do that. I'm blessed to do that. I've been blessed to have a wealth consciousness, to start studying and learning and shifting my mindset. So I get to come and pour into you guys each and every morning. And that's how I stay blessed. Because I give, I sow seeds. That's how I stay blessed. So I don't got to, I get to. So stop talking about what you got to do. I got to raise my kids. You don't got to raise your kids. You get to raise your kids. People out here have been trying to have kids their entire adult life and can't have any. You got 12 of them crumb snatchers, and you talking about you got to. No, that's a blessing. You don't got to raise them. You get to raise them. Spouses talking about I got to love my husband. I got to love my wife because that's what the Bible says. I don't got to love my wife. I get to. That's a privilege. I get to love somebody who loves me back. Somebody somewhere is loving the hell out of somebody who can't stand them and it's killing them. And you talking about you got to love your husband who loves you. You got to love your wife who loves you. You don't got to, you get to. And even though I work myself out of a job, some of you guys are saying, I got to go to work today. You don't got to go to work, man. You get to go to work. That's a privilege. Not a privilege from the job standpoint, but a privilege from the fact that you have working faculties in your limbs, your mind, your mental capacity. Someone will have you for a job. You don't got to go to work. You get to. So that's an attitude of gratitude. You shift that attitude of gratitude. Now you start to get a little bit more out of things that you're doing. Shift your mindset just a little bit, guys. I don't got to go to work. I get to go to work because somebody got fired yesterday and trying to figure out what they're going to do for Christmas for their kids, man. Somebody got fired last Christmas and still ain't been able to find a job. And you talking about I got to go to work. No, you get to go to work. Right? I told the story on Monday about my mom called me. My mom lives 30 minutes away down in St. Louis City. I live in the suburbs. And she locked herself out of the house. Said, could you come down here and let me in? And almost immediately I started thinking, because I was in the middle of something. I was like, dang, I got to go let her in. But see, I get in that mode for about 30/10 of a second. About 3/10 of a second, 30/100 of a second, right? And then I immediately shifted to, I get to go let her in because somebody don't have their mom. And I got mine. So attitude of gratitude is everything, guys. So I rambled long enough on the recap. So it looks like I got a couple questions here. So let's see what we got. Once you have their brokerage account, what's the process of purchasing shares for someone else in their name? Okay, you don't have to purchase so if you're purchasing shares in somebody else's name, I'm thinking mainly your children. So what you do is once you have your brokerage account, right? Now the next thing for you to do, if you're trying to purchase stocks for your children, you set up a custodial account for your children. That means that it's just like if your children don't have a bank account, a regular checking and savings account, get your kids a checking and savings account. Start them understanding money, man. So get them a regular checking and savings account, because if you do have them, that means you have to be the custodial parent or the manager of the account because they're not of age yet. So the same thing with a brokerage account. So you set up a brokerage account for your children. That means it's in their name, but you're the adult that manages the account until they're 18. And then once you set up the brokerage account, the custodial account for the child, then you fund that account, and then you can buy stocks in their name through the custodial account, right? Now, if you're talking about doing this for grandchildren, nephews, nieces, then of course you got to coordinate all of this stuff with the parents so that they can get their custodial account set up and all that kind of stuff. And you can still take your niece or nephew and set up a custodial account for them, right? It's the same process. You're just a custodian of the account, because some of us have siblings that I wouldn't set up a custodial account for my siblings to buy so that they can manage the stocks that I buy for their children. No, I'm going to manage that. So I'm going to set up the custodial account for my niece, for my nephew, for my little cousin, and buy the things that I need to buy and present them the stocks that way. So yes, you set up a custodial account for minors, and then you buy the stock for them in their name. And then if you have loved ones that you're buying, so maybe a fiance, maybe a spouse, maybe older or grown children, you buy the stock in your name, and then you present that to them, and then you say, you know what, this is your stock, but what we need to do is set up a brokerage account for you, and I'm going to transfer the shares of this stock to you once you have your brokerage account set up. So again, we're starting the conversation. Even if our children are grown and they don't know nothing about this stuff, if you get the process started, start the conversation, and now your grown children like, man, my dad did something he never did before. My mom did something she never did before. She bought me some stock for Christmas, right? So those are the things. And guys, you realize that these are the original stocking stuffers, right? Stocks, bonds, mutual funds, investment paper assets. These are the original stocking stuffings, right? When you would line, when wealthy people line their stockings up on the mantle, they don't have a bunch of junk falling out of them. They have envelopes in those stockings, and those envelopes are assets, paper assets. Right? So you can do the same thing for your children. Let's see, 2 questions from Shan. You guys didn't give me your business, so I can shout out your business. How do you go about getting an affiliate account? And can you go back over calling Experian, etc., to let them know only use current addresses, and do we call each one just the biggest most used? Okay, so Shan wants to know how do you go about getting an affiliate account? Guys, I don't know if you guys know, but if you are trying to build wealth, right, but you know you need to spend money to survive, the best way to spend money is through affiliates that will pay you a commission for spending that money. So for instance, Shan, if you have an out-of-town address that you could use, the biggest affiliate out there right now is Amazon. It's Amazon.com. So what that simply means is, as an affiliate of Amazon.com, I can go onto their website. Usually you scroll down at the bottom of every website. If they have an affiliate program, at the bottom where it has all of their disclaimers and all of that stuff there's a link that says affiliates, become an affiliate. You click on that link and click become an affiliate. It's a short application that they will have you fill out, ask you about you, do you have a website and all this kind of stuff. You fill that out, and then they will give you a link to their inventory, right? They will give you a link to their inventory. So I can go into Amazon. Now, the reason I say you have to have an out-of-town address, Shan, is because we have a stupid tax law here in Missouri that requires us to pay taxes and requires them to pay taxes on goods and services that we buy online and things of that nature. So they don't do affiliates for Missouri. So you have to use an out-of-town address. But what that simply means is I can sign up with Amazon.com. How many of you guys know that Amazon.com sells everything that you will ever use in your life? Everything, not just books. Amazon sells everything. So online Walmart, everything you need in your life, you can get from Amazon.com. So what that means is I have an affiliate account, and I got this special link. So you can put this special link on your website. When you go through this link and start shopping at Amazon.com, anything that you buy, because you in your port, you're kind of in your portal. So basically what they do is, what it is they're giving you an Amazon.com that overlays the original Amazon.com. so that everything somebody buys through your link is traced back to you, and they give you a commission on everything bought and sold through your link. So if you spend $15,000 a year to run your household on your regular consumable goods, from your paper goods, your tissue, your paper towels, your napkins, you know, replacement light bulbs and all that stuff. If you spend $15,000 a year for your consumable goods, you can spend that same $15,000 through Amazon.com, right? And then you'll probably earn a $2,000 commission back off that, based on the percentages of the commission are different for each product. So that commission comes back to your household. I call it boomerang dollars. I don't spend a whole lot of money, man, where I spend money in places that some of that money don't come back. You know, my Financial Success membership has a cashback mall attached to it. So I go in that cashback mall, and every time I spend money through my cashback mall, there's a boomerang on some of those dollars. They come back to me. Right? So imagine you spend $15,000 a year to manage your household, and then $2,000 come back to you. But you also have this link on your website, and other people are going to your link also and buying some things that they need from Amazon.com. You get your friends and family members who are not smart enough to set up their own affiliate account. Every time somebody asks, so I'm a youth basketball coach, right? So I have special tools and things that I use to train kids. And when other coaches say, where you get that from? I don't tell them to go to Dick's Sporting Goods or the local Johnny Max. I say, oh, I got this online, man. It's exclusive. Let me send you a link so that you can grab you one too. Why? Because that link is my affiliate link. When they go and buy the stuff that they need from my affiliate sporting goods store, I get a commission. So imagine doing that with Amazon and all your family. Every time your family asks you where you get some from, oh, let me send you the link to Amazon where I got it. And you can send them the link to that specific product, and it's still linked to you. And if they buy it, you get a commission, right? And then she had another question about credit. See, this is about credit. The three major credit bureaus, Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion, in order for them to report a credit history on your credit report, they have to verify two of three things. They have to verify your name, they have to verify your address, and they have to verify your social, right? Sometimes creditors are coming at us from years ago when we had different addresses. So you can go to contact all of these three credit bureaus and tell them that you want all of those old addresses removed from your credit report. So if somebody from 5 years ago reaching out to trying to report derogatory credit or reported collections on your report, and they have an old address, they have your name, they have an old address, and then maybe they have your social. If they can't confirm that address, then they can't put that on your report. But since we have all of our address history, every address that we ever lived at is still on our report, then when they get that report, when they get that notice from the collection company, they take the collection company word because you don't contest it. They say, hey, name matches Shan, yep. Last four of social matches Shan, yep. Address matches the address that we have on file for Shan, yep. We'll go ahead and report. So you want to make sure that they only have your current address on file, all three credit bureaus, Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax. If you guys want to know how to do that, I partnered with my man Juan Pablo, and he sells ebooks, which I'm an affiliate of. So I will drop the link in the description below. If you don't know how to do this and you want to buy that ebook that walks you through how to do this, you can buy that through my affiliate link, and Juan Pablo gives me a small commission. But the ebook not only tells you how to do it, it also gives you the templates and the letters that you need to send to them. So that's a way that you can do it on an inexpensive way. Otherwise, you can use our Financial Success Membership Credit Restoration Program. It's a little bit more pricey. It's $100 a month for 4 months. So yes, $400 to get your credit restored. that way if you don't want to do it yourself. If you want to do it yourself, you want a good ebook on how to do it, then I will give you the link to my affiliate account with 100% Finance, and you guys go to them, grab the ebook. I think it's like 50 bucks or something. They give you everything that you need to contact these companies and how to do it, what to say, and all you do is put in your information on the template, fold it up, send it to them, and get that stuff. Start fixing your own credit. So that's an inexpensive way to get your credit restored, but you're still getting some professional help because they're giving you the templates that work, the same ones that they use when somebody hired them to pay them to do credit restoration for them. So I'll put the link in the description for you, Shan, so you can check that out if you're interested in that ebook. So good question, guys. I appreciate that. I love to talk about what you guys want to know about. So if you just joined the show, I'm H Cortez, financial health mentor to the working class. On Fridays, we do something called Free Game Fridays, where it's all about live Q&A with you and your questions. So if you got questions on anything wealth building related, business related, branding and marketing related, anything, man, I just like to talk to you guys on Fridays about what you want to know. It's really all about you. So if you got questions, type them in the chat. If you're on YouTube, we don't have the ability to chat in YouTube. So jump over to the Facebook stream on my personal profile page, Cortez Springer, and you can type a question in there and I can answer questions that way. So excuse me, questions. Let's try to get some more questions in, guys. What do you guys want to know or have questions about, whether it was this week's recap shows or, you know, whatever? Anything. Friday is about you guys. I don't want to ramble on because Monday through Thursday, I talk about what I want to talk about. Friday, I want Fridays to be about what you want to know, so I can answer specific questions to what it is that you want to know. So no questions? Come on. You go through the stream here. Got a lot of good mornings and what's up, bros, but no questions. Just those 3 questions. Come on. Super cool about the ability to have the archive shows, you know, uploaded to Blog Talk Radio. And I did submit my podcast to iTunes. So I'm waiting on confirmation. May very well be on iTunes. I'll submit it to Stitcher today, which is another resting place for a podcast where you go in and do a search and you can download the podcast. So you can take the Financial Health Mentor with you. A lot of big things are going on with the Financial Health Mentor, man. New book coming out first quarter 2017. I think y'all gonna like it, man, because it breaks down the language of money in simple terms. So when you're dealing with money, you're gonna be able to look at this this book and this guide, and you're gonna be able to talk decode what the bankers are talking about as it relates to money. And I just give you an example, and this was kind of a funny example, right? But I want you to start thinking about how they use words, because words are powerful. And I don't know if you know that words can bind and words can loose, right? I don't know if you guys know that words can bind and words can set you free. So be careful about the words that you choose. In fact, the thoughts that you think and the words that come out of your mouth is building the fortress that you live in right now. Right. So I'll give you this one, just give you an idea of where I'm going. Miguel, shout out the name of your book, man. Give us the link where we can go grab it. You say you also have a book out. Good deal, Miguel. And so think about this one word, right? The word is save, right? What do you think the word save means? The word is save, right? So this is how you have to understand the language of money. The word is save, right? We're talking about save or saving, right? We think the word save means that we're going to keep what we have, right? Keep what we have. Success, how to obtain it, how to enjoy it, how to keep it. That's powerful, bro. I like it. I like it. Drop the link to where we can get it, man. If we can get it from your website or something, don't be shy about dropping the link, man. So we think about the word save, but what do you normally have to do in the world of money in order to save? Right? In the world of money, in order to save, what do you have to do 99% of the time? Anybody know where I'm going with this? Anybody can follow me on this? In order to save, what do you have to do 99% of the time in order to save? This is how they alter and pervert definitions of words and keep the masses confused. We're talking about the word save, but what do you have to do most times? Anybody know? What do you have to do most times in order to save when we're talking about the economy that we live in? In order to save 99% of the time, it requires you to do something else. What does it require you to do? Nobody's paying attention. Nobody's able to type and chat with me this morning. So when we're talking about the word save, I want you to think about it, because we're in the holiday season and you're going to hear that word save all day, every day. But every time you're saving, it's requiring you to spend first in order to save. So these are little tricks that they're using with language and with words to keep people bound, right? So when you say, when they say you go into the store, when you go into the store and they're saying, we're going to help you save $500, right? In order to save $500, you're going to have to spend $1,500, right? So does saving meaning to put away, or does saving mean to spend? Right? So that's what my book is going to be about. The new book that I have coming out first quarter 2017 is going to be about the language of money, right? In order to save, you have to spend in this economy. Odie's got it right. In order to save, you have to spend in this economy, right? So I see people coming out of the store all of the time, and they burn this in your brain, because every time in certain stores that you go, trick spin to say, yeah, every time you go into a store, and some stores will circle on your receipt and say, wow, you saved $17 and with this transaction. And I'm thinking to myself, I didn't save $17, I spent $22. But that's what they're doing to us with language. So Miguel's book is at thebookpatch.com. www.thebookpatch.com. So check out Miguel's book, man. Success: How to Obtain It and How to Keep It, man. That's a powerful title, man. So I'm gonna have to check that out. So that's what the book is going to be about. Any more questions, guys? You guys got me rambling, and I'm searching because I want, answer questions and ask questions. Shan, if you're still on, give me the name of your brand again. And I forgot the first gentleman who had questions. If he's still on, give me the name of your brand if you have a business. I always want to shout out your business as you're asking questions and engaging with the show. So Ronnie Washington Jr., if you have a business or a brand that you're building, type the name of your brand in the chat so people can connect with you and your brand, right? So yeah, you're gonna see or hear a lot of people with poverty consciousness talk about all the money that they're saving when they shop, right? Man, I just got that new PS4, dog. It was this mug normally costs $400, but I only paid $250, so I saved $150. You didn't save $150, you spent $250, idiot. Well, I shouldn't call nobody an idiot, but that's you didn't save $150, you spent $250. That's how they got our thinking reversed. So that if I'm always talking about what I saved, I'm never talking about what I spent. Because if I start talking about what I spend, then I start to see a pattern of me spending and never getting. And if I'm talking about what I'm saving and I'm not talking about what I'm spending, I'm sure as heck not talking about what I'm investing. Right? So if I'm talking about what I'm saving, not what I'm spending, I'm definitely not talking about what I'm investing. So they're keeping investment off the table because you're focused on what you're saving. Man, I just got this new TV, dog, 55-inch. Man, the mud was 700. I got it for 4. I saved 300. You saved 300. You spent 400. Right? So those are some of the tricks that they're playing on us when it comes to the money game and the economy. Language to confuse. Exactly right, Bridget. Exactly right. I'll give you another example because some of this is going to be on the book too. Why do you think doctors use Latin in the medical field? It's the same reason. See, money has its own language. The language of medicine is Latin. Why do you think they give these medical procedures and these illnesses and these sicknesses, all of these Latin terms and all of this stuff? It's to confuse, right? It's confused, because if you could break down these same things into terms that you can readily understand and identify, then you would know that you don't need a lot of the complicated medicines and procedures that they're trying to push down your throat. Right? Because they can give you a medicine and give it this Latin term, this term that you don't really know the meaning. And if you knew that the meaning of that term is something equivalent to an aspirin, then you wouldn't go and spend $40 per pill for this prescription that basically is the equivalent to an aspirin. You just go get you an aspirin, right? That's how they do it. That's how the game is played. That's how the game is played. So if you don't understand language and terminology, then you're going to be playing stuff. So I'll give you another one. Saline, right? So you go to Walgreens, and like me, I'm steady sniffling and stuff. I can go and buy a saline solution, right? What is saline? It's salt water. I got salt in the cabinet. I got water in abundance coming out of the faucet. I can create salt water myself, right? But they use the language and the terms, and that's why every industry has its own terms, because that's what separates the industry from the common person. And if we separate the industry from the common person, then we can overcharge the common person for the task. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm a capitalist. I believe in being able to get paid for your services, but I also believe in providing services that you are an expert in, and that, you know, people don't want to do. So that's why I always give you guys my sources. I tell you who I'm reading. I'm telling you who I'm studying. I'm telling you what videos I'm watching, because yes, you can spend and pay and hire me to do things for you. That's only if you've decided that you can't do them yourself, or you don't have the time to do them yourself, but not because you don't have access to the knowledge to do them yourself. I'm the same way. I'm very handy with my hands. I'm you know, when it comes to pretty much anything, I haven't tackled a job yet that I couldn't do. I'll watch a YouTube video in a minute and figure some stuff out, right? So I'm very handy, but my time is becoming more and more valuable. So I need a bathroom replaced, remodel. I can remodel it myself because I am handy. But if I remodel it myself, I probably have to do it over 2 or 3 weekends, right? I can hire a company to come in here and they can do it within 24 hours. Tear it out, put everything back within 24 hours, because they're going to bring a 6-man crew and knock that thing out. So I have to ask myself, what's more valuable? Me spending 3 consecutive weekends of my time, bathroom being in disarray for 3 weeks, while I'm saving a few $1,000s by doing the work myself, or paying somebody else to do it. So Fruits of the Spirit is Shan's brand, all natural bath and body products. And then she also uses the 90 for Life program as an affiliate to get access to other all natural products in the health and wellness field. So 90forlife.com/Taylor Family Health. Every supplement you need for absolute health Thanks, Coach. You are very welcome, Shan. And I am also affiliate of 90 for Life. Why? Because I believe in good nutrition, right? And I could go into GNC and probably find some quality nutrition, but guess what? GNC ain't giving me no affiliate code, dog. So I ain't spending no money where I ain't getting no boomerang on some of my dollars, right? So Ronnie Washington Jr., higher education path. We provide consulting services to high school students, college students, and their parents. We help students get into college, get the most out of college, and successfully transition into the workforce. Facebook.com/higher ed path. So go to higher ed path, man, and like that page, guys. Higher ed path on Facebook and like that page. Appreciate the work that you do, because I just sent 2 kids. I didn't send 3 kids to college, man. And I'll be honest with you, neither one of them were prepared to go. Neither one of them were prepared to go. But I sent them not to get a college education, because I run businesses that they're going to come home and help me run these businesses. So I didn't send them there for the degree. I sent them there for the experience, for the life experiences, so that they can grow up a little bit, right? So not knocking anybody who went to college and got their degree and they are using their degree in their field. But let's be honest, man. College has become such an entrepreneurial endeavor for those entities that it's getting ridiculous out here as it relates to the cost of college and all of that stuff. And then, especially when it comes to us, guys, I've read studies on the amount of BS classes, and I'm not talking about Bachelor of Science classes, that our students, meaning Black students, are taking when they go to school, classes that don't attach to any major, but classes that they're being funneled into that they can pass, and that they pay for, but have nothing to do with nothing, man. So that's why you have 5-6 year seniors struggling to get a degree, because they finally, looking at year 4 or year 5, you don't have enough credits to go towards any particular major, because you took all of these BS classes, man, that they shoving at you because they're trying to get you in the door and get your money, man. So you got to be careful and make sure that college is the right fit for your child. And holler at my man Ronnie Washington if that is the way that you're deciding that you're going to go with your child. Make sure they are prepared for what needs to take place at college, the responsibility of being a college student, right? Very, very important. If you don't mind me asking, Cortez Springer, does anyone know a Black attorney that handles medical neglect? Yes, no, I don't mind you asking at all. Anybody know any Black attorneys that have handle medical neglect, maybe malpractice, that sort of thing? Please get with Bridget Starbridge. Send her a private inbox and let her know if you know anybody that handles that. Thanks, man. One of our main goals is to stop people from going into student loan debt. We show them how to do it with little or no debt. Exactly right, man. That's important. And I would add, for those parents that you counsel and college is not the thing for their children, maybe down the road, I don't know if this is in your plans, but maybe you can think about adding an entrepreneurship component to what you guys do, so that, hey, you still want to prepare them for life, but if you're not going into college, so you can at least get a leg up to get a decent job, if you can find something in your field, if you go into the right field of study, then what can you do? What kind of skill sets do you have? What kind of trade can you pick up where you can turn that into a business? Because I just think entrepreneurship is the new retirement plan. You got to start thinking. We got to start teaching these kids ownership and thinking about business and things of that nature. But again, the amount of responsibility, the level of responsibility required for business focus and entrepreneurship is equivalent to that when you're sending kids to college. So don't let your kid talk about he's going to be an entrepreneur and he's talking about being a rapper and a producer and all that kind of stuff. And all he does is sit around and smoke weed all day, talking about it inspires him and all that. You know, you got to be careful about that. Now ask me how I know so much about that. Right? I told you guys that the intro music that I play is actually a track that I produced. I was with a rap group almost 20 years ago, and that was what we're doing, trying to be entrepreneurs. But the one thing we didn't realize is that all entrepreneurs have mentors. All entrepreneurs have mentors. So we didn't have anybody in the music business that was mentoring us to say, okay, here are the steps that you need to be taking so you stay on the course that you need to stay on in order to hit your goals as a record label, right? Maybe you can do our entrepreneur component. Yeah, I have no problem with that, man. That would be super cool, man. That would be super cool. In fact, guys, if you're not familiar with the nonprofit organization, Young Biz Kids, that's Young BIZ KIDZ, youngbizkids.org. That's exactly what we do. Is we bring entrepreneurship programs to schools and we teach kids entrepreneurship. So yeah, that would be super cool, man. But I love it, man. I love it because most of us have this idea in our head that we're just going to send our kids to college because that's what society is telling us to do. And understand who's controlling society. The businesses that create the textbooks in the colleges, the businesses that creates and builds these colleges and these massive campuses, the businesses that put their restaurants in the college cafeteria. So yes, they want us to just send our kids to college without a second thought, because that's going to feed the machine of higher education. Higher education is a machine, just like the prison industrial complex, and we're feeding that machine without giving much thought. We're feeding the higher education machine without giving a lot of thought. And anytime you're going to invest anything, any amount of money, any amount of time, any amount of resources, any amount of anything, there's one question you always have to ask and be honest with the answer. What's my rate of return? When you send your child to college, ask yourself, what is your rate of return? Right? It's costing me $80,000 to send. I got a fifth-year senior at UMKC, and I got a freshman at Lindenwood. Right? It's costing me about $80,000 to get them both graduated from college. If they decide to stick around that long, I know my fifth-year senior will be out next semester. So, but that's what's costing me. But I'm looking at that investment not for the degree. I'm looking at that as an $80,000 investment to help those kids grow up on their own a little bit. So now I have some seasoned, mature, experienced in life business partners when they come back home to help me run our family empire. So my return on investment is a little bit different. I'm looking at it a little bit differently. My return on investment isn't they get their degree and then they go work a job for somebody else. And then if it costs them $40,000, then it takes them 40 years to pay off a $40,000 loan. And that's not my return on investment. My return was to get them to get out, grow up, learn how to connect and network with people from all over the world. Because when you go to college, people at those colleges from all over the world. Network with people from all over the world. Understand the real power in your network, which is equivalent or is a measure of your net worth. How much are you worth? You're worth the amount of the people that you know, right? And the people who knows you, and more importantly, what they know about you. Right? So get out there and make connections, learn, grow up, learn how to be on your own, learn how to be responsible, make 1,001 mistakes So by the time you come back and you start helping me run the company, your mistake threshold is almost exhausted, right? You're through making most of your mistakes because you made them in college. Right. So I think a little bit differently about college, because I know that 80% of the people who graduate from college with a degree never get a job in that degree field. And in fact, most of them aren't even getting jobs at all based on anything they learned in college. They're getting these jobs based on what they are and who they are. And guess what? A lot of times what they are and who they are, they were that person before they went to college. Right. So this isn't a college bashing session. It is understanding what your rate of return is when you go through that machine of higher education. Is it worth it for your particular child, for what they want to do, the field of study that they are passionate about? Is college the right way for them to go? That is the question. That is the question. Because now that you have YouTube University and Google University, a lot of things these kids can become experts in before they even graduate high school, right? And I'm just of the opinion that all children should have at least 3 trades under their belt before they graduate high school. Because if you got 3 trades under your belt, now you go to college, you have 3 different ways that you can make money and pay for school without having to borrow for school. But what did they do to the trades? When the trades were in all the high schools, they pulled them out of the high schools and they gave them to the higher education machine. That's where your ITTs, your Batterots, your all of these Sanford Browns, all of these technical / trade colleges were birthed when they stripped these higher education or these trade schools out of the regular public school and they privatized them. So we have to start thinking to ourselves, here's another thought. If the family business is finance, I can send 1 kid through school to get a finance degree. And then that 1 kid comes back from school and teaches the rest of the family all that there is to know about finance. Right? If the family business is engineering, I can send 1 child to school to get a formal engineering education. And then that 1 child can come back and teach the rest of the family engineering with what he learned, acquire all the books, all the resources that he got from school. He can come back and sit down with his brothers and sisters, use a combination of what he learned, his actual experience with instructors and things of that nature, the connections he made with other engineers that he met along the way, and they can come back and teach the rest of the brothers and sisters engineering. And with the help of YouTube University, Google, and all of those sorts of things, buying books and that, you can get an engineering education by sending 1 child to school to get the formal education, that 1 child coming back to relay that to everybody else. And if the family business is engineering, then that's how, it can be done, as simple as that. Right. So that's just my thoughts on college and university. I realize that is a machine. And we just can't keep sending our kids through that machine without a serious plan. Right? Without a serious plan. And then some of us, like me, know good and cotton picking well that we sending some irresponsible children to university, and they're not going to do what they need to do to come through or to learn what they need to learn to become successful at whatever their dreams and goals and passions are. And we send them anyway because we want to get them out of the house. So that is my any more questions before we get out of here? I had a lot of work to do, man. I had a lot of stuff on my plate I got to get off today. So I'm going to get started on a lot of that stuff. Any questions before we get out of here? Any questions? Come on, guys. We got to do better. This is live Q&A, and we had 4 questions. Any questions before we get out of here? Nope, no questions. Okay. Guys, do me the favor and go over to All Amateur Sports Network, like the page, If you do Twitter and Instagram, or we're at AA Sports Network on Twitter and Instagram. If you have a business and you want to sponsor one of the games or some of the coverage of the 2016 Normandy Holiday Invitational Basketball Tournament, will be good for you to just help me out, because this is my first big project with the network. So that would be good if you just want to sponsor. Even if you don't have products that will reach the St. Louis market, and you just say, hey, man, I just want to support you and what you're doing. We have sponsorship packages that start at $50 and go all the way up to $500. You can sponsor a game. You can sponsor the entire coverage. For $500, you can sponsor the entire coverage. For a couple $100, you can sponsor a game, a pregame show, and a postgame show. For $100 and $150, if you just want to sponsor one of the shows, a pregame show, a postgame show, a halftime show, do that. We got a lot of ways that we can market and get your brand out there to our audience, and we have over 25,000 people that we reach with our various media. So that's what we're looking to do with the network, and eventually you'll see All Amateur Sports Network covering local high school and junior high sports in your area, because again, that's one of the pillars of my billion-dollar empire. I just look at industries, man. How many billionaires do you know in the media industry, right? Media makes a lot of billionaires, so I've got to get in media, and this is my way of doing that. How many billionaires do you know in real estate, right? Got to get into real estate. How many billionaires has the tech industry created? Got to get into technology, right? How many billionaires have the world of investments created? So those are my 4 pillars of my billion-dollar empire. So if you haven't thought about what your 4 pillars or your 3 pillars or whatever, start thinking about that, man. Start looking and start studying wealthy people if you want to be wealthy, and that will help you. So I'm your man, H Cortez, financial health mentor to the working class. Until I talk to you on Monday, I want you guys to get your money up, because you can absolutely do it. Peace out, people.